So first off, we're just gonna start off we normally do with just individuals here. Take a look at SPY here on the weekly. See where we're sitting at. Did get a pretty nice bounce after that little pop down last week. Tapped off of looks to be a imbalance, I believe. Yeah, weekly time frame imbalance. We see that we filled that really nicely, and that was one of our targets that we were looking for towards the downside before we start to see some buying step in. So that was a really nice hold there overall. But we did reclaim quite a bit of the move, and we closed pretty much right at um, previous week's close as well. So pretty flat overall in terms of the movement overall for last week, but we see that we do have this kind of little bit area of support right here. Almost a very, very tiny imbalance that we are actually look like we're trying to use this as support here. So for me, what I'm going to be keeping an eye on is going to be this imbalance that we are going to be creating on the weekly time frame. So if you look on the weekly now, with last week's candle close, right, we see that we are going to be forming just this imbalance here. So I do still think we actually have a little bit more room up, roughly to about this probably like 540. Let's just say 540. We'll get a little bit of slippage maybe past that imbalance, and then potentially could continue down. So I think that's what we could be looking for in terms of upside targets. Otherwise, downside targets, I do still think we actually have a little bit room down for me. I'm not really too satisfied with just this overall candle right here. I think it was pretty aggressive for us. I think if we did want to see a bit of a bounce, I think we would want to, at least stay within this area a little bit longer here. So maybe I think for more downside targets, we definitely could see another back test back to this 525, or even potentially even go to 500 level. I'm a really big fan of this low right about here. But yeah, I do still think we can see a little bit more downside. I think for me, this really is just going to be a higher low structure kind of coming in play here. But we would have to get this break below this 530. So probably below 530, we could see a back test into that 524. And then, as I mentioned, kind of above where we're sitting at right now, actually, we do have that imbalance to fill slightly overhead of us up to about 538. And you could actually see right where we're sitting at right now during the pre-market, we're sitting at about 534, which is pretty much just going to be opening up right inside of this. So I think with this morning setup here, we could see pretty quick pop. Yeah, and if you look on the daily time frame here as well, we do have another imbalance that's going to be sitting right on top of it. So right about here. Yeah, and this will also take us to roughly about that 540 level. So that could yeah, that could be really nice if we do get a quick pop off the open today. Um that's another reason why I positioned my swings the way I did. I do still think we could potentially see a little bit more upside here. Which is why I did grab time with those. So that's pretty much just gonna be that. Not too much going on though. But overall, actually a kind of a wider range here for me, I think. It depends really on how we open. If we do open within this 534 region, you see that we probably will look to chop, especially if we don't get above, this imbalance right here. So we do have a pretty decent size range from about, I'd say like 530 to about 535-ish, 536 for our range on SPY. The 4 hour looks like we do have a bit of a trend line here. Not really one on a smaller time frame, although we could technically draw one if we are able to get a third tap here. Then we could definitely draw one for this upper trend line here. So we definitely do have some type of trending structure coming in. We do also have a bit of a 4 hour imbalance to fill here as well. But yeah, I do still like this up to, yeah, like I said, 540. As you do see, we have previously on this 4-hour structure, we have a nice little base that was forming around there. So this would be a potential break and retest structure. But you guys can definitely see we are actually setting up for another leg, right? Rally basing, rally base, and then now we should see some type of another rally, either to the upside or downside. And I'd assume that's going to be the move from CPI or PPI tomorrow. So yeah, definitely could potentially still be an inside day coming in for Monday. So nice overall. Take a look at Qs. You should be the same exact thing here. Yeah, pretty much the same thing. Although I do still like us down towards this previous high over here on QQQ. So down to 408 roughly, or even 400 flat. I do actually like that level quite a bit. We are able to get down there. I'm not sure if we actually will, but yeah, like I said, for me, still really not a fan of how we interacted at this previous support level over here, or even kind of over here. Um, yeah, it looks like we are going to be creating once again another weekly time frame imbalance up to, yeah, pretty much drawn out roughly about the same spot I have it drawn out on the daily here. So about roughly 456 here. We are sitting right at 452. So just slightly below it right now. We're sitting um for this weekly time frame. We did get this candle close above this previous resistance right here. So what was once support got flipped to resistance over here, and then got flipped back to support. So I would want to see this kind of level right here hold 448. Otherwise, below this 448 level, I will see another back test back into this, previous larger range over here. So probably down to 438. So once again, this is going to be a potential another larger range area, which is going to be at about a $10 range. So probably below 440 or below 437. I'd like to see a little bit more downside, and then probably above where we're sitting at right now. So probably above, I'd say like 450, 453. I'd look for a gap fill or inbounds fill up to 455, 456. Daily time frame should be pretty much the same exact thing as SPY as I mentioned. Yeah, we have another daily gap to actually fill there. Pretty much almost at an equal high here, so we are opening up right at 452, so slight gap up. And then, yeah, but like I said, above 453, we have room up to that 456, go for that imbalance or gap fill. And then we could even actually see up to maybe 560. I think 560 would still be valid in order for us to create a lower high structure. So we could definitely continue to see that. Like I said, with these swings, we do have quite a bit of time on them, so I think these definitely could still play out with this lower high. So, I mean, like I said, I think we'll look to see this gap get filled, and then we would like to create a lower high. But I definitely do like us back down to roughly this 440 region for me. Let's see how individual tickers look, as they will be telling us a little bit more on where we could heading towards. So Apple here on the weekly, really nice fill overall with that weekly time frame imbalance, and actually really nice hold as well of it. So we got that fill last week, and then we kind of popped up really nicely. Pretty much gave up all of that, the whole entire move for the most part. Um, yeah, we're sitting about 216, so pretty flat. We did get back above this previous resistance over here, right at 213. So previous resistance flip back into support with the way we got this candle close. I want to see us respect this. But like I said, I'm really not a fan of last week's candle and how aggressive it was in terms of the actual buy up. I would like us to actually kind of rebalance this overall move here. So we're going to be opening up right about 216. So yeah, we definitely could continue to chop around here. But I think definitely probably below 213. Come back and back test this previous level here, which is going to be 207. And then for upside targets, I don't really have too many, I'll be honest. We could see 220. So probably above like 218, we could look to see 220 and then 223 roughly. But for the most part, I'm not really seeing too much here coming in from Apple on the weekly. Daily time frame structure. We do have a little bit more room here for this gap fill. But yeah, once again, above 217, we have some more upside targets here overall, but yeah, really not too much from me. I think we are honestly a little bit more on the extended end in terms of Apple. We like I said, we have a little bit more room up to this 217, but I think for the most part, we've had a pretty strong week overall last week, so I think we could potentially see a red day coming soon here once we actually start tapping into this previous level. So I do like this actually at this 217 level. If we open up around here, I think we could see a nice little bit of rejection here. Look at Microsoft. Microsoft, very similar structure here. However, we did still have yet to get a fill of these previous imbalances below us. Um, I do like how we ended up closing here. Closed a little bit higher than I wanted us to. However, this isn't the worst close, as I do still think we are going to be respecting this previous resistance right here. We just did get a candle close a little bit higher than what I wanted us to close at. So I think this actually is going to be getting used as potential resistance. So it was one support with this previous weekly candle here is probably going to get flipped to resistance roughly around this 407 level. So for me, probably more upside targets for Microsoft would definitely have to be above 410. So above 410, or even above, yeah, probably above 410, we could look the upside targets of up to 415. Otherwise, I think for me, this is just going to be a support flip to resistance. We just closed a little bit higher, so this spot for me, I think, is a nice overall area to reject and see a back test back into this probably 400 psych level first, and then down to 393. And then if we do get below that, we definitely could see um, this push for this imbalance down to 375. But for me, for that to happen, I think we would have to see a weekly candle close below this 393 level, or even just that close at a lower low here. So definitely below this 400 psych level, but I'd prefer us to close below 393 on the weekly for more downside targets. Daily time frame here. Yeah, same exact thing, probably above 410-ish. We have some room up to 417, or even 425 if we do want to get a little bit more generous here. But yeah, like I said, I do still like the spot where we're sitting at. So yeah, until we get the break of one of those levels, I will flip my bias. Take a look at Google here. Okay, so Google, this is a really nice structure. Nice hold of this previous almost demand here. I do like how I do like this candle, how we filled that larger time frame imbalance. However, we still have yet to get an official tap off this lower trend line here, right? You see, this is a structure that we've been actually respecting for quite a bit. And we just came literally just shy of that lower trend line tap. So I do still think we can actually get that tap. off of that. Once again, I think this could just be a lower high in play. As you see, we are still sitting technically under resistance as of right now. From our upside targets for me on Google, we would have to get above for 170. So above 170, I like some more upside targets. Otherwise, this definitely could be similar structure to Microsoft was once support got flipped to resistance. So we do technically have a little bit more room up here, up to about 166, before I think we start to see some more rejection come in. But like I said, I do still like us towards this lower trend line to actually continue to respect that structure. And then if we can actually get this break, so below probably 153, 152, we could look for a push for this weekly gap fill down to 145. So still keeping an eye out on that. And then that for me, that would also be a previous high area. We did get this hold back here on the left, about a previous high over there. So I do still like that spot as well. Look at the daily. Yeah, so daily structure here, it actually looks almost like a bit of a bear flag starting to form. Not the prettiest one, but you could definitely see something is setting up here for another break. And that's kind of what I said with last week's watches. We probably will see a little bit of chop going into um, this week, especially with CPI on Wednesday and PPI on Tuesday. So, yeah, like I said, I do still have a little bit more room up to this 166 area. Then that's where I would start to see some rejection start to come in. But overall, yeah, still like to set up NVIDIA now. So NVIDIA here, similar structure. We get a with that candle close with last week. Was relatively high right at 107, and then from that gap down, it brought us all the way down to about 90 here. So we did get a really nice back test of this previous high. Hold up. Beautiful fill of this weekly time frame imbalance there as well. So filled it officially, and then we are sitting at the 105 here. So I think this is going to be similar structure. I would like us to actually come back and retest this 194 level, because we kind of moved through it too quickly for me. I would like us to kind of come back here and actually base around this 94 to tell us that, okay, this is definitely going to be a clear, higher low structure compared to how we moved last week. So I still think we could get a retest of that. What I'll be keeping an eye on, I think, for more upside targets is going to be this previous weekly time frame imbalance here. So I would like us to have a weekly candle close above this, so probably above 107, in order for us to see some more upside targets. Otherwise, if we fail to do that and we get another weekly candle close within 107 or below 107, I still think we could probably see another back test of this, 94 region, because we do technically still have another large range here. We have this 100 psych level that's sitting right in between um, this imbalance here. So it definitely could have another nice, ranging structure here. But then again, we will see. Like I said, I have some more downside targets still down to this roughly 84 region on NVIDIA. But take a look at the daily and see what that's telling us. The daily structure here, yeah, it looks like there is somewhat of a lower high structure starting to come in here. You see from the swing high up here, we've been creating continuous lower high. So we have a little bit room up once again, similar to all the other names. So about 108 or even 110 roughly is where we have room up to. So probably break above 110 or 111. We could definitely see some more upside up to that previous breakout level to 114. Otherwise, if we do reject this 109 level, we probably would see a back test of the 100 psych or 102. Sorry, 102. We'll see back test of 102. Probably slip into this 100 psych, and then I think for me, below this 100 psych, if we get a daily close below that, we definitely probably could see a back test into the lower 90s. And I think that's it. Well, we have no 4-hour structure here. Really nice 4-hour structure here. We see we have a nice little wedge slash flagging structure here. And technically, this would be what type of structure? This would be actually a 4-hour bear flag. Remember, going exactly how I would with what we covered with last week's class. Right, pull entire and pull smooth. Right, all consecutive red candles. Duplicate that. Bring that to the end of the breakout, and this is telling us that we could probably see that lower 90 region on that 4-hour structure. So this is really, really nice. So yeah, this would be an immediate breakout level if we did get above here. So above, 107, 108, as I mentioned, we'll see a quick move up to that 110, 110. And if we probably got above there, 114. But see here with this higher 4-hour structure, higher low, if we do get this break probably below previous low of day, we'll see a nice move down to 100 psych and then back to the lower 90s. And I think that's it in terms of charts. Let's take a look at the economic calendar. Economic calendar here looks like, yeah, only really two highlight events going to be going on this week. Technically three. So main thing obviously is going to be CPI on Wednesday, and then we have PPI Tuesday, right? So PPI should give us an overall general idea of how we should expect CPI to perform. Don't really have too much going on for Monday today. But yeah, definitely Tuesday, Wednesday, we should see some really nice moves from data. But yeah, like I said, today, with it being Monday, don't really have a whole lot going on. So we could see a little bit of chop before we actually get a nice break from those two catalysts. And then Thursday, Friday, could be overall really nice. I think depending on what the data is on Tuesday and Wednesday, I think that could potentially allow us to continue with that direction Thursday and Friday, as we don't really have too much going on in terms of the actual events. Okay. And in terms of earnings, I don't think we have actual earnings. Doesn't look like anything too important with earnings, so yeah, that's pretty much it for this week, I think. You guys have any questions on anything? All right, cool. All right, yeah, so that's pretty much it for this weekly watch list. Pretty sure, like I said, not too much going on, but I do still think we are still in a bit of a bearish structure, just looking at how those individuals are setting up. So it'd be really interesting to see how we move this week with data.